there's always ups and downs, but it's just fighting through them and not giving up. And I never gave up on this because I was so passionate about it.
Hi, everybody. Welcome. I'm here with Jessie James Decker, the illustrious and highly accomplished Jessie James Decker. Hi, Jessie.
Hi. What's up, Nick?
Nice to see you. Where are you? Are you down south right now? You're down south?
Yeah, we're actually at the Kittenish office right now.
Nice, nice. So
down in Nashville.
I love the Kittenish neon because it kind of ties into Juicy Couture, which is amazing. So
I know
it's very the font, everything's very juicy-esque. So you're in Nashville where you get a lot of your inspiration from. But let's talk about inspiration. What inspired you to start Kittenish?
Such a loaded question, but I remember sketching outfits and designing looks when I was supposed to be paying attention to math class, starting in middle school. And I think the inspiration started from, I'm an artist, I'm a singer and songwriter first. And I just thought, what do I want to wear on stage? And so I would design these little cute outfits that I would just envision myself performing in. And so when it really came to fruition was after we had a few seasons of our reality show, I did a meet and greet. And I had never done a meet and greet before, never had an opportunity to have like fans stand in line for me for anything. So I remember standing at the mall it was at the Boston Mall. And I remember walking up and looking at my mom saying, oh, look, there's a line out the door. I wonder who's here. I wonder if there's like a cool celebrity we're about to see, like not thinking of anything. And as soon as I walked up, I started seeing cut off jeans, cowboy boots, flannel shirts, and red bandanas. And I was like, oh my God, they're all dressed like me. Or they're here to see me. I couldn't believe it. I mean, it was out the door and he went in, up the escalator, wrapped around the second floor to then the third floor. They were all there to see me. And I remember I just started bawling my eyes out because I couldn't believe it. And so it was that moment where every single girl was dressed just like how I dressed that I thought to myself, I guess I have a style. I didn't even know I had a style. So as time went on, I started doing concerts and going on tour, and every single girl would walk in and whether they were in leopard print or whatever inspired them with something I wore, I thought to myself, why don't I just create this? Why don't I create a line that is inspired by things that I wear, since they're trying to gather all of these different pieces from all these stores to put it together. So that is when Kittenish started in 2014. I found these designers who had a small collection and I asked them if they'd be interested in partnering with me. We did a teeny tiny collection, maybe two launches a year. They sold out every time. And then in 2018, I decided to take over the company. I bought out my partners, just totally had a different creative vision and opened a brick and mortar. And it's been off to the races. It's just been, I know that was a big answer, Nick, but I had to kind of sum it up for you.
You know what I like about that answer?
Question.
You know what I like about that answer, Jessie? It's so inspirational because I mean, what you did is, let's face it, it's what a lot of young men and women are trying to do or would love to do, right? I mean, not everyone, but listen, you grow up and whether you're in the you think about entertainment business or fashion business, and everyone has a style, and you think, hey, wouldn't it be great to design or have a clothing company? And it's that difference between kind of wish and do, right? And it's very inspirational because in this social media world we're in, there's what I love about it. To me, listen, there's a lot of, there's good things and bad things about social media, but the one thing I love about social media is it allows young designers or talent or musicians, whoever it may be, to kind of get their voice to the world to expose their talent, right? I think I love that answer because it's super inspirational of, to show young people that if you have an idea, right, and you're willing to work really hard and you're smart and you invest time in it and you get the right, surround yourself with the right people, you can actually, you can make your dream come true, which is pretty cool. It's awesome.
Absolutely. And it's been a journey. I mean, there's been many moments since 2014 where I've wanted to just give up. I mean, so many moments where things just weren't working and had so many challenges. And it's just been, everything is like that. Everyone's journey is, there's always ups and downs, but it's just fighting through them and not giving up. And I never gave up on this because I was so passionate about it. And I always thought there's always a solution. There's always a way to fix this if, to make it happen. And so here we are, and I'm talking to you, and we have this amazing Juicy collab. I mean, this is a dream come true.
I know it is amazing. So what's the inspiration for Juicy, and what was your, like, we just talked about a memory of Kittenish. What's a memory? You told me once you grew up with Juicy. What's a big memory of Juicy Couture for you?
A big memory for me is when I watched Jessica Simpson and Nick Lachey's reality show, Newlyweds, and Jessica had on this gorgeous Juicy tracksuit with her rainbow colored Louis Vuitton and her dog. And I just always loved Jessica. I always related to Jessica. She was just a Southern girl with big dreams and sang and just was so relatable and honest. And so I loved her, and I looked up to her, and I loved her clothes. And she always had on a Juicy tracksuit. And so that was my first memory. I couldn't afford them when I was younger. My parents didn't have a ton of money, so I was never able to have one. But you all blessed me with my first tracksuit this past fall. You made me a custom one. So that was like a really sweet, the like little girl in me was just so giddy.
I think that story is probably, I think that story could be repeatable with many young girls around the world about Juicy Couture, because it was, we hear it all the time.
Totally.
I know my wife, she can remember having, closets of Juicy Couture tracksuits, and and that's why we love the brand so much. That's why we bought the brand, because it's rare.
Yeah. I was going to wonder that.
Yeah. It's, well, that's a good segue. Why we bought it. A couple of reasons. One, it is so iconic and so famous. I mean, there's very, very, whether it's like a famous song, right? I mean, you remember where you were, or it's a song that's played at a wedding or your wedding, or, and like my favorite playlist, I go from crying to laughing, right? It's the same because songs mean so much to you. And I think there's very few brands, particularly in apparel, that have those iconic things. It's like Levi's jeans, or it's the DVF wrap dress, or it's a Juicy Couture track.
Absolutely.
Right. And you think of those moments. You think of Kim Kardashian and Paris Hilton and Mean Girls, the movie, and Tina Fey, and like it's.
Oh, I know.
It's so symbolic for so many things, and that's the amazing thing about Juicy right now, is because sure, 90s is hot right now, but it's kind of a. I think it's full of so much whimsy and carefree, and in this time where there's just so much stuff, and pressure, and you can't say the right thing, you can't say the wrong thing, and it just allows you to be, it's kind of a freeing brand. It's kind of it's a soft, it's a soft tracksuit that you put on.
Makes you feel good.
Yeah, exactly. It's a feel good brand, and I think it's hard to find them.
It's a feel good brand, and you don't have to overthink it. You just feel good when you put on a Juicy tracksuit. Everybody does. You can't not smile when you zip it up.
Yeah.
There's just something about it. I feel good, and it's flattering. It looks good. It feels good. It just goes hand in hand with Kittenish. That's why this was the perfect marriage of these brands. I feel like Juicy is Kittenish, and Kittenish is Juicy. It just works.
So when I get my, because I have one, when we make one for Eric, you think he'll wear it?
I don't know. If you make a man suit, he might.
I'm gonna make we're gonna make a really cool Juicy tracksuit for Eric. We'll convince him to wear it.
You should. I think that would be really good.
So
I love it.
What's your favorite piece from the collection?
I think my favorite piece from the collection is maybe the hot pink tie-dye set. I love it because there's something iconic about it. Obviously, it's juicy and the fabric is extremely soft, but I also think it ties in what's happening right now in fashion. So it's, we've got a lot of the elements from the 90s, but it also ties in what's current, and tie-dye is current. And we had tons of tie-dye sets last season for Kittenish, and that continues to be a really hot trend. So I love the marriage of the iconic classic Juicy with Kittenish and what we're doing. And it's I don't know, that tie-dye set just feels really special to me.
Nice. Yeah, I love that one. I know Josh.
What do you like? What's your favorite?
I'm gonna say that mainly because that's the one Jocelyn likes the best from Instagram. So I know I can't wait. We're going to Miami tomorrow.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see it on her. So
she's gonna rock it.
Yeah, it's always so. It's such a flattering piece. So talk about, you are a you're clearly very successful, and you're successful in multiple fields, right? You've got a you and Eric, you got a great family, you got a great relationship, you got a great music career, you've got a great business career, and you kind of, I know there's so many people that would look up to you, particularly, you know, you're not only you're a powerful person in business, you're a powerful female in business and what you do. And, you know, March was Women's History Month. Tell me about that, and how do you, you know, you being a mom, successful businesswoman, you've got a best-selling book, you know, we use your recipes all the time. Like, the accolades keep coming. And how do you, you know, how do you juggle it all, doing all that?
I juggle it in a way where I think I balance out what's the top priority to me. And when you put the most important thing to you at the top of the list, I honestly feel like things fall into place. The number one priority to me is my family, my husband, my children. They mean more to me. And if I truly feel like if you're happy in your home life, and this is just my opinion, this doesn't go for everybody, but I feel for me, if you're happy in your home life, it's going to make you even more successful in your other businesses because you're so happy. So I'm happy in my home life with my husband and my kids. So during those times when I can really give it my all in my businesses, I give it all I got, because it's a short window to get it done, because I want to get back home to my family and make them dinner and be with my kids and be, you know, and enjoy that time with them. So I feel like because they make me so happy, I'm happy in my work life. I'm happy with what I'm putting my hands into, and I'm extremely enthusiastic. Because they drive me, they inspire me to keep going because I'm so happy.
Well, I'd say, you know, what I take out of that too, Jessie, is that you have this, you know, I try to do it every day, is it's that power of positivity, right? And it's very cliche of, you know, painting a vision board in your mind or being positive and thinking about glass half full, but it's so true, right? I mean, when if you are happy and you exude happiness comes back to you. And it's, you know, whether it's a smile or it's a pleasant word or it's doing something, you know, it actually works. And I think that's a great kind of mantra to live by, right? If you're happy at home, it's hard to, because that, you know, home is where the heart is. It's hard to not be happy in the rest of everything you do. That's nice.
Absolutely. And being happy it's all about the way you think about things. And I know this is cliche, but you wake up every day and you get to decide if you're going to be happy today. If you wake up and you're going to have a bad day, you're going to have a bad day. You wake up and you're like, I'm going to make today amazing, and I'm going to give it my best. I'm going to smile. I'm going to make other people smile. It's going to happen. And sometimes people will say to me, well, you have a lot to be happy about, so you can say that. Yeah, I do have a lot to be happy about, but I worked really hard to get here. I didn't always have all this. Life wasn't always easy. There were moments where I was 19 years old with a record deal, and I had to call my parents to wire me money because I couldn't afford cans of beans at Kroger. You know, it just depends on your mindset. You can have a positive attitude, and I'm telling you, positivity will come your way. I am such a firm believer in this.
Me too. Good days are great days. You wake up and you're breathing. There's either a good day or it's a great day.
I say that all the time. Like, the kids are healthy. We're like, that's all that matters to me. You know, this seems so small in the grand scheme of life. There's people out there that are truly suffering. So do not take anything you have for granted.
Amazing. So before you ask me a couple of questions, what is the?
I know I'm ready to ask you my questions.
What's next? But wait, what's next for? I mean, you're doing everything, but what's next? What's upcoming for you, for Jessie James Decker?
Oh my goodness. Well, I am finishing my album finally. We're in the final stages of that. You know, I was a little frustrated last year because I so badly wanted my music to come out last year. But like we're talking about, everything happens for a reason. And it was truly a blessing as far as timing, because I had so much. And I feel like if my music would have came out the same time my books did, it would have been too challenging. And so it's really worked out beautifully to where my record's finally coming out. So I'm very excited. I'm signed to Warner out of Nashville, and this is such a dream come true to be with such an iconic label. And then Kittenish is just continuing to expand. We're opening a few more stores this year, and we're opening in more categories. So we're going to be launching a beauty and cosmetics line here soon. Oh my goodness. And then I just signed on for another cookbook. So I will be finishing that book this year and then turning it in so it comes out in 2022. So that's kind of the gist.
That's all.
Of what is keeping me busy.
That's all. Amazing, Jessie.
I know. It's crazy. Okay. So Nick, I have a few questions for you. So I don't know if everyone knows this, but I had heard about Nick through a mutual acquaintance, and I was told that Nick was the guy I needed to meet. I was in a place with Kittenish where I was trying to figure out what to do to the next step, what the next step is. And I was really doing my best to educate myself as much as possible from people that I knew had been doing this longer, were smart, and like the people I aspired to be like. And Nick's name just kept coming up, being like, this is someone you got to meet and have a conversation with. And I don't know if you knew that. And so I'm such a firm believer in educating yourself. You do not know everything. Ask people who know more than you so you can learn. And so I had my whole list of people I wanted to meet when I came to New York. And I remember coming into your big, beautiful, gorgeous office and so honored to be able to sit down and talk with you. Eric came with me as well. And we just talked for an hour, and I picked your brain, and you gave me such great advice. And throughout that conversation, that's when you're like, well, I just acquired Juicy, and this could be really fun. And what was amazing to me about that conversation is how enthusiastic you were about it. But you're not just enthusiastic about Juicy, you're extremely enthusiastic about all the brands that you have. Like, you truly love each one of these. It's like children. You love them each so much, and your eyes would light up about everything. Sports Illustrated, whatever it is you were talking about, you would get so hyped, and it was so inspirational to me. And so I think my main question is, the first one is, how do you decide that you want to acquire a business and put your heart and soul into it? Like, what is it about it that you just go, oh, I can't stop thinking about this. I think we need this company.
Oh, wow. First of all, thank you for that. And I guess we'll have to have an old fashioned with Craig one day with Jessie.
Yes.
Our buddy Craig Conover from Southern Charm, who by the way, is being very, very successful entrepreneur with his pillow business, and where I've actually been a partnership with Craig as well. And but thank you for those wonderful and kind words, and it means a lot coming from you, from someone who was my girlfriend, who's now my wife, watching your show many years ago, and that's very, very nice, because I thank someone, the spirit, every day for being here. But I think the funny thing is, it's a complicated process to buy a brand or a business, because there's lots of due diligence and money involved and people. But from a brand perspective, it comes down to heart. And my partner Jamie and I, we've been in this kind of brand, retail, wholesale, entrepreneurial kind of business for a long, long time. And you just got to feel it with the brand. You first of all, the brand needs to be famous. You got to love the brand, but it also has to be, someone has to want the brand. And then second, most importantly in the world today, it really needs to be global. You can't building a business solely in the US these days. It's good, but you really need to think to yourself, could I one day sell this in Europe? Could I do it in Asia? Can this be a global brand? And if it's super famous and it can be international, and it can be converted to the model we want, and we love the brand, it kind of works. It really works. And if you look at our kind of stable of brands, Jessie, it's very, you go through the brands, and whether it's Tree Torn, or it's Vince Camuto, or it's Barney's New York, and you mentioned Sports Illustrated, like the estate of Elvis Presley, the estate of Marilyn Monroe. It's got these brands.
Shaquille O'Neal,
right? Yeah, that we own Shaquille's brand.
You got it all.
Yeah, it's they're so iconic, right? And that really is where it hits. And for me, someone who started working on the retail sales floor when I was 16, it's pretty amazing to know that you can own these brands, and that's not just about owning them. It's continuing the legacy of what someone started. So that's really where the decision-making process comes in.
And that's a really big responsibility. So you're not even just developing something new, you're taking on an iconic brand, and you are having to maintain or I guess bring to life the dignity of this company, the essence of this company. I mean, I honestly think it's an even bigger responsibility to go, how do I keep this brand alive and take it to the next level so it's current for this generation who doesn't know how special this brand is. And so I think that's a very big deal in the whole thought process, I'm sure.
Yeah, it is. And it's funny you mentioned Shaquille, because I think of right by the pictures of my kids, I have this is Shaquille size 22 shoe, right?
Oh my Lord.
In real life, it's amazing to think that this man is can run up and down the court faster than most of us can. Not faster than your husband, but with these size 22s. But Shaquille, it's a good example because, you know, he's trusted us. We don't represent Shaquille. We own his brand with him. So you've got Shaquille O'Neal, whose name is on his own credit card, but there's the Shaquille O'Neal brand. And what's amazing about Shaquille is he's an icon to my children who are 6 and 4, but they don't care.
Oh, yeah.
They don't care or know that he ever played basketball, right? Because he's a terrific brand. And I think he entrusted us with his legacy, where there's a lot of kids today that they look at YouTube highlights, but they think of, you know, Kyrie Irving or Zion Williamson. They don't think of Shaquille O'Neal. But the fact is that he was one of the greatest of all time, and now he's become a brand. So yeah, particularly with the individuals, they have to have great trust. We have to have great trust in each other, much like your representatives from any of your groups, right? They have to have great faith in, you have to have great faith in them to make sure that they're upholding what your aura, your Jessie James Decker brand is. So yeah, it's a bit of a weight. We have an amazing team here that you know kind of does that for us, and it's still, you know, every day I wake up and I think about these amazing brands and the effect they've had on pop culture and society, much like whether it's your television program or it's Juicy Couture. It's woven into people's lives, right? And it's pretty cool.
Absolutely. It is cool. What do you think is next for Juicy? Like, where do you see Juicy going from here?
Well, it's after 25 years, I don't think it's, first of all,
25-year birthday.
Yeah, exactly. It's only going to go up from here, but it's the most telling thing that, you know, it's going to go up is we have a partner in Europe who's relaunched the brand with us, and most of their social comments are, a lot of these young ladies are saying, "Hey, I just found out about this new brand, Juicy Couture," right? And it's just kind of like,
oh my Lord,
but it's so funny, right? Because
that's great though. I think
it is great. They haven't Googled it, or they haven't, and then when they do, it's like, oh my goodness, this whole history, and then, you know, Kim's picture on top of the Rolls Royce and all that stuff, right on top of the Land Rover. And I think, you know, for us, for Juicy, it's going to continue doing amazing collaborations with brands like yours. It's going to be increasing the distribution a bit, and it's also going to be taking it so it's not just and we've started to do this, not just a tracksuit brand. You know, it's got amazing fragrance. It's still top 10 fragrances globally. It's been there for 20 years, right? And yet Juicy, the Viva La Juicy fragrance, I mean, you walk in an elevator, you're, okay, that's Juicy. Like it's so famous. And
you know.
Everyone knows Juicy, right? It's like Chanel No. 5. And
my sister wore it all throughout middle school, high school. That was Sydney's fragrance. She did.
I love it. So yeah, it's only up from here, Jessie. It's continued expansion. Our Asian partner is doing super well with it, and I know we're going to kill it with this Kittenish cola.
Oh, I'm so excited! It already is. My DMs have been just. I texted you. I'm like, this is crazy. People are so hyped about it. It really is just the perfect partnership. I'm just so glad we did this.
Yeah, and let's do some more.
I would love that. That would be amazing.
Well, Jessie,
so what do you have for the rest of the day, Nick? I mean, you just got you got more and more things to do today. You're just always busy. You're always doing something.
I am. But speaking of, because you mentioned about your family, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go home, and it's actually 63 degrees in New York. I'm going to go home and take a couple of Zoom calls, and I'm going to take my kids out to the park, and I'm going to put them to bed, read them a couple of stories, and then have dinner with Jocelyn. A great end of the day.
I love it.
When's the official launch? I should know.
Thursday at noon.
I hope by the time you watch this that everyone that you've bought a piece of it. If not, you'll have to buy it aftermarket or buy the next drop.
Exactly.
Say hi to Eric for me.
Awesome. I will. Thank you. See ya.
Yeah. Bye, Jessie.